Yo, what is up? Jacob here from selfmade.dev, and today I have some exciting project for you. Basically today, this is a series, right? The series of automation, the things which are actually the real life examples. And today I found a job posting on UpWork, and basically I thought, why don't we do this, right? This is literally a script which needs to be done. Let me show it to you. Alright, so this is the photo I did, right? I took the screenshot of that a few days ago. This job is not, it's already gone. Unfortunately, I didn't get it. But basically, here, you can see that the guy is looking to the software which will automate the invoice generation. He put this nice link here, which we're going to check in a second. And this website has an API. Right, and then basically what he wants is he has a CSV file with like Excel or CSV, it doesn't really matter, with information for invoices, and then he wants it to automate, to create the invoices PDFs from the CSV file. So let's build this and let's check out those websites. Alright, so as you can see, this is the website. You can put your logo here and so on, right? Like all of the information, and basically you can click send invoice or download invoice, which will make it very, very nice. And what the guy said is basically, if you click on the API here, you can here learn more about the API. And yeah, this is basically the documentation for the API. So here you can see the endpoint and some examples of different requests. So for example, use a curl with this kind of input. Here is a JSON input, which we'll be using, and so on, right? Like there are different examples, but this is not the case. We don't really need to focus that much here. So let me show you what Postman is doing. For all of you who doesn't know what is the Postman, is basically whenever you do some request, you can test it here, okay? So I already put the invoicegenerator.com here. It's a post method with headers, content type, application, JSON. As you can see here, this is required as a header, and then I put a nice testing, like kind of like a test data for a body, without actually even like a date and some other information which we can add later. But yeah, let's send it, right? And as you can see, this is our response. So basically it's a PDF, but obviously we can't really see it as a text. We have to put it to the PDF file and run it with, for example, Adobe Acrobat, right? So, all right, let's write a script for that. Okay, so let's get to my GitHub account and let's create the new repository for this, actually, for this tutorial. And it will be a public one, and let's call it, Invoice Automation. Or Invoice Automator, I don't really care. Okay, let's do it like a public one, create a repo. Alright, so let's click here and let's clone it. Alright, so now we are inside the repository, right, you can see. And let's create the virtual environment. Alright, let's activate it. Cool, and let's run the PyCharm or Visual Studio Code, or whatever you have. So I just created a simple Python file, automate.py. So this is our file, and let's detect the virtual environment in PyCharm. Alright, so let's create the directory called Invoices. Okay, and this directory basically will hold the output of our CSV file, okay? Let's take a look at the CSV file first. So I prepared one for you. Basically, you can just take it from GitHub, or you can create your own for your own needs. So this is how our data basically look like here. You can see from who, which is the company, in our case it's Selfmade, which is my software agency, to who, it's a client, right? This is the logo of our company, you will see it in a second. The number of the invoice, date, due date, and the items, so basically the services, and this has to be kind of like an array, and we can already put it in this nice Python dictionary format, and some notes in the end. And let me show you the invoice, how it will look like after generation. So one of the invoices will look something like that. Okay, depending on what you put there, which is pretty actually nice and cool, and this project can really help you. Alright, so let's just code it now. So first I would suggest us to install some libraries which we'll be using. So we'll be using the request library, which is a library which actually allows us to do easy requests. Let me show you. I'm pretty sure all of you knows it is one of the most popular Python libraries. It has like 44k almost stars on GitHub. So let's install it. And also let's install Typer. Typer is a pretty cool thing because I want to execute our script with the command line. So we'll be doing something like Python script right, .py, and then the name of CSV. So for example, invoices.csv. I want to run it actually from here, and I want to make the invoice CSV file as an argument. So for this, let's build it with actually Typer. So this is Typer. It's basically from the same guys as Fast API. It's something pretty cool and pretty new. And as you can see, all you need to do later is this thing to actually create a command line interface tools, which is awesome in my opinion. And I highly recommend you guys check them out because they do pretty awesome job. Okay, so for now we have I just created also requirements.txt. So whatever you will be installing it, you can just install the requirements from this file. Also let's create a gitignore file, and I'll just add here as a default whatever I add to every gitignore file. Alright, so let's import libraries first. So we'll be importing requests, we'll be importing data class. So data class is also a pretty cool thing. So whatever you want to represent data something, then you can use data class for this. I'll show you in a second what I mean. Also, we'll be using types in this tutorial. I really want to show it to you how you can actually set the types in Python. Okay, so this is our data class basically, and it basically shows how do we describe our object of invoice, right? So those are the fields which we'll be taking from the PDF, from the CSV file, and we'll actually keep it here. And whatever some other programmer will come later and see this code, instead of like expecting, like literally checking the dictionary, he or she will see the invoice and its fields. Okay guys, so it was a little bit faster than hold on, here's a mistake. It was a little bit faster. I didn't wanna like describe it before I finish typing it. So basically we'll have two classes, CSV parser and API connector, and we'll have the main logic here. But basically those two classes, this one will be responsible for reading the actual data from a CSV file and converting it to dictionary, converting it to list of invoices classes. And then the API connector, basically this class will allows us to get one invoice, the invoice, the class, the data class invoice, and send it to API, get the data, get the PDF content, and save it to the file, right? And here there will be like a main loop which is iterating over our files. Let's go, guys. And yeah, this thing, Typer run main, right? This is actually from the documentation. So this is basically this example, but one thing which I changed is I went to arguments, because we need the argument, and I took it from here. So here, arguments with default, and basically I copied this example for our needs. So right now, as you can see, it works. So it works with the default, and let's try from terminal. So let me zoom it. If we type Python invoices, Python automate, and we type, for example, file.csv, it will run with the file.csv already here. So it's a super simple command line interface tool. So let's start with API connector basically, because this reading and parsing the data is less important for now. Right now we just wanna make the whole magic happen. So this is what I mean by typing, right? We can put the type. So after the arrow, basically, this is what we accept from returning this from this function, and from init we don't really accept anything. Like init shouldn't really return any value. Okay, so those are the variables which you need to in the init function, the headers for your request, as you saw before in the Postman, the URL, and the invoice directory, which is basically the directory which we created, right? So it's invoices from here, like you can see here. Oh, I want to do this big mouse, yeah, here. All right, so we'll have two functions. This will be like a bigger one, and this will be more specific, which will be used in the first one. So one will connect and save, like this is the name convention, right? And this one will just save, but it's since this one is the part of this one, I'll rather put it that this function is doing this and this. All right, let's implement this. Also, like for us, as arguments, you can also see that we are passing here the invoice, which we expect this this data class, this object of this data class. Now, a very important thing, this one, we need to parse it because, well, when we send the JSON to the backend, to the API, it accepts those fields here, and whenever you do in Python field from, this is actually already like a used keyword, right? So we can't really, I had to do like a from who. So this is our request. We do a post request as in the hold on, Postman. So as in the Postman here, you can see that was a post. Well, actually, I think I closed that, but yeah, it was the post request. Okay, so here, whenever we have a successful request response, then we take the content from the PDF and we're going to save it in the, as a PDF actually. Okay, so here we need to open this in the right binary mode because we get a content, and then we also use for everywhere typer echo. So basically, it's a way of typer suggest us to do that. It's basically the print. It's same thing here. I don't want to say also like same, but it's in the end same output in the command line. But yeah, anyway, we got it here. You rewrite the PDF to the file, and for now, let's just test it for one PDF. So here, whenever we have API connector, I prepared for us a nice invoice. So this is also like how we will be reading the invoice from CSV file, but in this case I just made it manually, right here, and let's just run it. So let's do API.connect to API send and save invoice, and this should basically yeah, we have to pass the invoice. This should basically create an invoice for us. Let's check it out. For now, we don't really need to put any like CSV file because we don't even read it yet. Okay, so it looks like it actually saved the PDF. It saved the invoice. So let's go to invoices and let's take it out. Let's take a look. Boom. So it works, which is perfect. And now what we're gonna do is we need to read those data from the CSV, iterate over them, and generate multiple invoices as our client wanted. Okay, so those are the fields names of the columns in our CSV file. We basically need to provide them here because we'll be using the dictionary reader for CSVs. And yeah, basically here's the name. So this will be also like the class which can be used outside our script, which is pretty cool. So this is the function get array of invoices, and you can see here we expect the list of invoices. Okay, so this is how our function presents, and let me actually explain it because it's a little bit harder. We are opening the file, which is obvious. We are using the dictionary reader. It is the function from CSV. We can actually click it here. I don't think if we can get any nice details here. We would need to get details from the documentation, but basically it takes the fields of the columns, so it actually creates the dictionary immediately after reading the file. And yeah, like as a header, basically the header is the first row in the file, so we need to skip it. I do it very simple like that. So whatever header 0, we to +1 and continue. So continue means go back to the loop, to the beginning of the loop, and don't do this yet. Now, what is it? This is the unpacking of the dictionary, because right now row is our dictionary. And we are creating the object invoice here, and we are unpacking those values, key per values, right? Key values per, sorry, yeah, whatever. So we are creating them, and then we have another problem, which is here. So right now, if we go to, let me do ls, no, let me open our invoice CSV. If we go here, you can see this nice way of doing the arrays. Unfortunately, once we read it, this is read as a string. And Python doesn't know that it's actually a nicely prepared list of dictionaries. No, it has no idea. We need to actually read it and do the eval on it. So basically it's kind of like here, right? You can see evaluate the given source in the context of globals and locals. And basically after evaluation this, we are getting the list of dictionaries, which we actually want, as you can see here, list of dictionaries. And yeah, later we're just appending the invoice object to the array, and we are returning our array. Let's run it. Okay, so for now, let's focus on this part. So this is just a CSV, reading the CSV and getting the object. So let's run it. So we do Python, and basically if you do automate, as a argument default will take invoices CSV, but we can also type it here. And as you can see here, we already got our array of objects, like here, object invoice, with the data inside. And the problem which we had, it's also solved. The items here is actually the array, the Python array. So we have a really nice nicely prepared data. So let's finish the script right now. So we can get rid of this here, and yeah, that should work. So again, this is our input file, right? Let's go to the invoices. Let's delete this one. It's empty, as you can see. And let's run our script right now. So Python automate invoices.csv. Let's go. File 1 saved. File 2 saved. Let's go, let's go, let's go. File 3 saved. 4, 5. Boom. 6. All right, let's open them. 1. 2. Okay, that's pretty cool. Let's open one with like more line items. Oh, this one, for example. This one has 2 line items, and as you can see, quantity, it already actually calculates it and create the good amount here, because we are using the API of them. So guys, as you can see, we basically delivered like literally the script which was in a job post in UpWork. So I hope you enjoyed this one, guys. Let me know in the comments what would be the next process we can automate in Self-Made, because as you guys know or not, we are running the software agency, which is mostly focused on automating stuff. And basically also want to create the brand, so we are doing those videos to provide the value for you for free, and also see how we operate, how we work. And yeah, guys, if you have any projects, just hit us up at contact@selfmade.dev. Yeah, guys, thank you for watching, subscribe, like, and see you next time.